Hello and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zenker and I'm your host. Today I am super excited to have my good friend Drew Berman on, and for many reasons, because he's an awesome guy and really fun to talk to, super successful. But let me give you the official stats about this guy. He's a best-selling author, he's a trainer and coach, and he is the top leader in one of the fastest growing health and wellness companies in the world. He's also helping people to live a better life while creating world-class masterminds on the principles of Think and Grow Rich. His newest book, which is coming out soon, and he's going to talk more about that, is You Can Have It All. Isn't that a title that we all want to read and love? And he teaches people how to have more fun, make more money, and to really love the good life. Well, who doesn't want that? So, and you're a great example of that, Drew. So welcome to the show.
So happy to be here. Good morning. And you're one of my favorites. So happy to hang out with you today.
And I want to hear more about, when your book's coming out. Give us a preview of the picture and show us You Can Have It All.
I'm going to be one of those overnight success stories that took 47 years. So I just had my 47th birthday, and this is my life's work. I was just talking to one of my friends, and I feel like when I was 12, I came up with this worldly life philosophy. And I remember the day I was walking home from elementary school. I was like, oh, I just figured out the key to life. Figure out what you want and figure out how to get it. And then it wasn't until 20, 30 years later where that started to kind of mature into an adult. And I'm like, wait a second, figure out what you want and figure out how to get it. And a lot of people
it is that simple, right? It's just that we don't get it.
It's the humans that mess everything up. Everything is,
right.
is simple. The universe has your back. As Gabrielle, one of my friends, she's an author, she wrote The Universe Has Your Back.
Oh, awesome.
Right. Yeah. So I just love, hanging out with people like you. You uplift me. You encourage me. We've sat in a business suit. We've sat in a bathing suit, and here we are sitting virtual. And that's one of the ways that you can take back time. When you leverage your relationships, and I actually I came up with in a meditation and a mastermind, the law of collaboration. So I own the lawofcollaboration.com, and that is a movement in happening. But right now I'm focused on the book. Actually, thank you for bringing it up. Here it is. It's You Can Have It All. And the subtitle is actually what you just said. It's the ultimate guide to having fun, making money, and living the good life. And I just got off the phone, literally a text a few minutes ago from one of my very good friends, very smart, got this school, got this degree, went to a second school, became a lawyer. And for 10 years, he's been chasing the struggle, wanting to be an entrepreneur, chasing the struggle. And nothing's changed in 10 years. Very good friend. And the text says, I really want to participate in some of your fun things, but I'm in urgent mode right now. All of my clients are getting foreclosed on and their banks are going to get closed. He said, so Stephen Covey teaches there's the urgent quadrant and then there's the important quadrant. And if you could live in the important quadrant, you won't have to live in the urgent quadrant. And that's what I like about you. One of my articles I wrote is called 2020 Hindsight or 2020 Foresight.
Right.
And 2020 is right around the corner. But the expression that we grew up in is 2020 hindsight, where you're looking behind. But here we are, 2020 is coming up right around the corner. It's ahead of us. So I'm trying to teach my clients and friends and business partners how to live in prepare rather than live in repair.
Absolutely. Well, stop for a second there. Whoa, you've said so many powerful things and you're speaking too fast. There's people who are listening and they're still back, you're still back at can I have it all? So a couple things that I want to say is that I want to go back to your point around mastermind, and we'll come and talk about that in a separate segment. But you talked about one of the keys to, success. And Napoleon Hill says this how many times? I think I just watched a video that said more than 100 times in his amazing book. He says that mastermind is the key to success, that collaboration you're talking about. And it is a way to take back time. So I want to make sure that people understand they're listening to this podcast because they want to get back more control in their life. They want to be more strategic in their thinking so that they can quasi take back time. And collaboration and working in a mastermind is absolutely critical. So that's point one. And we're going to come back to that point because I want to talk about your book. You talked about people being in the urgency, right? So I think a lot of people here are going, oh my God, yes, everything is reactive. I'm urgent, got to do what's urgent, and never actually put any dedicated, purposeful time towards what's important and towards what really creates success for them. So I want to talk about that in the context of what in your book, give us a tip or something that helps people in the how-to, right? Because they're stuck in that urgency mode. How do they get out of it?
Sure. Thanks for that. And that's, again, you just gave a PhD in life and lessons. You mentioned words like strategic thinking. People like, what does that mean? So here's one tip from the book. I think you're a superstar. I think, I know you talk all over the country and all over the world. I think you attract some of the top entrepreneurs. I know you're helping small business owners and corporate. So how do I, me, a regular guy, attract someone like you to collaborate with? So I came up with a sentence. I'll give you one sentence, okay? How do you make someone like Penny appear in your life? So how do you make anyone appear in your life? A mate, the perfect business partner, the perfect collaborator. How do you make someone appear in your life? You make them appear in your life. So
I like it. I get it now. I get it.
Okay. So in order for me to attract someone like a high caliber person like a Penny, I have to become the person that she would want to collaborate with. Now, how do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Through the law of attraction, the law of collaboration. Here's a very good takeaway for your listeners today. And if you only hear one sentence, this is the game changer. It's called the law of alignment. When what I think and what I say and what I want and what I do is all in alignment, that's when the magic happens.
Bingo! And all the other formulas that you hear, like, people read The Secret and think the law of attraction is think it, think it, think it. I want it, I want it, I want it. They're missing some really key elements, right? Really key elements, which is, the aspect of actually doing it and taking those critical steps to doing it. Well, what happens, right? And this is great, and I love that. So we have the formula, right? Keep it simple. I don't know how to do it. There's people listening and they go, I don't know how to do it. So I've got, let's just say, right? You've written a book, I've written a book, right? And they want to write a book. So how do I do it? I want it. I think that I can do it and I can see myself. The question is, do I believe it in my heart, right? But how do I do it? What's missing for me? If I really want it and I can think it, what are the steps that I take in order to do it?
GTS. Google that stuff.
Thank you for
see that
child-proof.
When you and I grew up,
Google that stuff.
Right.
Yes.
Because when you and I, it's the ultimate collaboration. When you and I grew up, if we wanted to collaborate with someone who was a wise person but has been deceased, the only way we can collaborate with that person would be through the Encyclopedia Britannica. So we would have to look up someone like Abraham Lincoln, and then you'd have to read all about Abraham Lincoln, and that's how we would collaborate through a consciousness. Now, with Google, we can collaborate with anyone. So here's the exact process, and works 100% of the time, no matter what industry. Here it is. It's a couple steps. Step 1, figure out what you want. Step 2, find someone that has what you want. Step 3, find out what they did. Step 4, do what they did. Step 5, don't quit. That's
Keep
it.
doing what they did, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or the word is until.
Until.
Yeah. Because just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it hasn't happened yet.
That's right.
That's just language. I want to be a billionaire. Well, okay. Do I know any billionaires? Can I find a billionaire? What did he do? And I will do it until.
Absolutely. You know, I can't tell you. I mean, it sounds so simple, right? 5 easy steps. And so why aren't people doing it? Because it's true. And it works, like you said, 100% of the time. Maybe the until takes a little bit longer in some contexts, but if you do it, and people are really willing to help and collaborate. Like I have to tell you, a number of years back, as I was starting to get into speaking, you know, I wasn't really sure. I didn't really even know any major speakers, but I was doing a podcast and I interviewed somebody and I was really impressed with them and felt like we had a connection, even though I'd only met them once for the podcast. I asked her if she would mentor me. And she thought about it and was very deliberate in her thinking, but she said yes. There was no payment involved. We met once a month and she mentored me, right? And that's that. There's different levels of mastermind, right? When you talk about collaborating in mastermind, there's so many different ways to find someone who's done that, do what they did, right? And do it. So, and report back to them. If you're working with someone and collaborating with them, also let them know that what they did and the support that they provided was valuable, and then pay it forward, right? A few extra elements just to lock it all in, makes you feel good, reinforces everything that you've learned and that you know. So, but it's true. It works 100% of the time.
And it's worked for a million years. So the word over thousands of years ago was apprentice. If I wanted to be a goldsmith, right, I'd have to apprentice.
That's right.
If I want to be a wizard, I'd have to apprentice.
Right.
So, you were kind of on, they call it like my chicken scary list. I was like, oh, yeah, she seems so successful. Why will she want to talk to me? And I just said to you something like, I like your energy. Maybe there's some projects we can collaborate on. And you're like, sure. You were approachable like a regular person.
Right. So, and we're all regular people.
And Christopher Columbus actually said something pretty wise. He said there's 3 parts of a human's life. Part A, put your blinders on and learn. Be a student. Learn as much as you can and don't disrespect your teachers and do exactly what they tell you to do. Mm-hmm. Phase B, create your fortune, your house, your finances, your financial fort. And phase C, go help people in phase A and B. Yeah. And it becomes the circle of life.
Well, and so just a little wisdom from Elaine Zenker, that's my mother, is that she said, you don't ask, you don't get. And at the end of the day, that has stuck with me and so simple and so powerful in my life, right? So for people who are sitting at home and going, yeah, that's good for you, but the whole yeah, but syndrome that many people have, just ask. What's the worst they can do? To say no, right? You're going to be respected for asking. So, right. And you might find that a larger percentage of time than you even think, you get a yes.
And you also will get a lot of no's. And people need to know that up in front. You might have to ask a lot of people. And there's a lot of stories that you can relate to. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Yep. Abraham Lincoln had many failures on the way to the presidency. Disney got cut from his elementary school artist class because he didn't have enough imagination. So these types of things. My favorite one is Colonel Sanders. At like 90 years old, went to like 500 chicken recipe places, and everyone said no, 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 until finally someone yes, and then right. That's success story.
Absolutely, all over the place, right? People wonder why Formula 409 is called Formula 409. They tried 409 times to get to the right formula. So it's true. And that you said until, right? So it's
until. And that's where the mastermind comes in, which is so fascinating to me because Napoleon Hill, 100 years ago, they said there's a problem in the world today that most people are spending so much time making a living that they don't have time to make a life. Holy moly, is that more true now today than ever? So there's 13 principles in the Think and Grow Rich that work 100% of the time with 100% of the people in 100% of the professions. However, everyone, a lot of people we associate with, Penny, have heard of that book. Most people have read it maybe once or at least heard of it. One of my mentors has read it 75 times, and he realized that there was no how-to. It was
Right.
only a book of philosophy, and he got frustrated. So he actually wrote a how-to. And then he created an online university. And I think as of this week, I will be either the dean of marketing or the chief marketing officer or something for LifeWorks University, which I'm really excited about because it teaches under a very structured system, the 11 principles that work, but you have to bring two of them. You have to bring desire, because we can't teach that.
Nope.
And then you bring a mastermind. So we have a set formula where we can teach you how to take your vision, which is what's important to you, your projects, doesn't matter if it's clean the garage or raise $10 million for an orphanage, you have a project. Now the project is just like a recipe for a cake, you need a blueprint. Once you have a blueprint, you need goals. And once you have goals, you need rituals to help you hit those goals so that you follow the blueprint so that you hit your vision. So I'm creating world-class masterminds, pods of 4, and we would invite the listeners to come and participate in one of these masterminds where you can actually focus on your goals. It's not coaching. It's not mentoring. It's opening up a universal power that's outside of your brain. And that's where the magic happens, according to the #1 book in personal development in history.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if anybody, I mean, collaboration does open that up, right? When you bring your minds together, you can create way more than any individual. And you know, back to why we don't have it all and why, you know, people, what the benefit is of this mastermind is, you know, I say people get caught up in the lone wolf syndrome, is that they think they have to do it all themselves, especially the entrepreneur. Yeah, maybe they have a couple of partners, but they're kind of in competitive mode. So, you know, not gonna talk and engage with this one, or, you know, very selective and very just in that lone wolf. I'm doing this myself. And that mastermind totally opens that up. I mean, I am part of probably 4 major masterminds right now, right? And because I know the power of collaboration and masterminding and the different minds that you get together, I mean, I can tell you in each one of those, I've created some amazing ideas and momentum moving forward because of what was created out of that mastermind, not because of what I did, but because of what the mastermind brought to me and brought to each individual. So I'm 100% in alignment with how powerful that is.
Cool.
So I know that we're on a schedule this morning. So I also, you know, I want to thank you for being here, and you've shared so many great nuggets. Before we close out and you get to share some, you know, where people can find you, what's one more thing that you think that we didn't touch upon yet that's really critical that the people listening, entrepreneurs, business leaders, that they hear about, you know, either masterminding or the aspect of you can have it all?
So the concept of that out of the box thinking is already limited. There's no box. It's just a story that in your head. So what Joe Dispenza is teaching now, and he's really doing a great job about it, is recreating the story that you're telling. Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup says there's no such thing as a rut. You just keep telling yourself the same old story. So a lot of people feel like they're running full speed on a treadmill going nowhere. So here's my advice to the listeners. It's time to create a new story. How do you do it? Well, you connect with, listen, I'll reach out to me. I'll give you some tips. I have a lot of really free, fun strategies and tips and techniques on my website. I have a very simple way to get in touch with me. It's the letter E, ezcard.com/have it all. So my book is called You Can Have It All. My name is Drew Berman. I'm very available on social media. If you hit me up on social media, be like, hey, heard that interview with Penny. We will be in connection and collaboration. The best way to collaborate with me is through my Easy Card. My Easy card works and you can get one too. I'll show you how, but it works as an app. It works as a digital business card, and it works as a mini website. So go to Easy Card, the letter E, the letter Z, easycard.com/have it all, and you will see this picture, this book, with all the links to get involved with me and even participate in one of my world-class masterminds. The link is right there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Drew. It was great having you here and some really fantastic nuggets. So if you like this show, I want you to go back and I want you to listen to it again, write down all of Drew's contact details, but go back and listen again, because Drew said something earlier that his mentor, the founder of LifeWorks, has listened to Think and Grow Rich, or has read it and listened to it and poured over it over 100 times, right? So it's not just listening or reading to something once, it's really gleaning all that you can, and we can't get that when we go through it once. So there was a lot in here, very simple, but also you need to repeat until you're doing it, right? So that's until. So listen again and take action. So thank you everybody for being here. My name is Penny Zenker, and this is Take Back Time. We'll see you in the next episode.